So Glenn and I have brought this down to just the operation money. Now there's capital money and there's operation money. Capital is like the state capital, and it builds things. So that's the buses and the buildings and all that stuff. Operating is what the bus systems get to run their system, to actually operate it, okay? To pick people up and to keep their buses maintained and to do all that. And that's the only part, that's the only part we're going to talk about today. All of the money is ours. It comes from tax dollars that we pay. The operators, the amount of money authorized by Congress every year for public transportation federally. And then they divide that down to the states. Now, Michigan happens to be a state that has left money on the federal table. You ever play poker, you know, you leave money on the table? Michigan leaves money on the table. Some of our tax dollars that go into the federal government, we only get 85 cents back on the dollar. Anyway, and the rest goes to a bridge in Alaska or wherever. Then the U.S. government sends it to all the states, including Michigan. The Michigan Department of Transportation matches the funds, and they have a budget. And every year, every transit system submits the money they spent to run the system. They have the capital separate, but the money they spent to pick up people and drive the buses. And so the more miles you go, you know, the rural gets a little bit more than the urban. Michigan has a formula. That formula was created in 1951. That was a couple years ago. Things were different then. So we're going to have some transit systems. We're going to have a city system. We're going to have a small, sort of urban, rural, partial kind of system. And then we're going to have a real rural system. We're going to have a Marquette, and we're going to have Negaunee, and we're going to have Channing, Michigan, okay?
Chatham.
What?
Chatham.
Okay? So, who wants to be the city? It's going to be Gotham City. Yep, come on. She's going to be the head of your transit system. Anybody want to ride on her bus? No. You're Gotham City. Okay? So you get to wear a tie. Everybody knows that. And everybody in the city dresses up and wears ties, right? Who wants to be on that system? You do. Okay, there's your hat. Okay? So she's the mid-sized, rural, urban kind of a place. Okay, then we got another system that's really the small Chatham. This is Smallville, this will be Chatham. You want to be Chatham?
I grew up right like Chatham.
Okay, this is
yours. I live in Melbourne.
This is yours.
We need 2 more people because you can't just have a one-person board. Come on up.
Come on up.
Come on up. There's one.
This is the kind of systems. The rural systems are the kind, or the dial-a-ride systems are the ones that you call for, and they don't have a regular route that they go. Okay, now this is the city. So she's got buses on the road 6 days a week usually. And she's got them going from 6 in the morning till 10 at night, and they got regular routes they travel. And you can always get on the Main Street bus at 4:45, 4:45, 6:45. It always runs on the same schedule. Okay?
Can I move there?
They have transit. She has transit, okay? If you've hit the picture, she's got transit. These 2 systems have a dial-a-ride system. So, let's suppose that the state of Michigan got $50.
No, that's $100.
Oh, from the federal government, okay? We got $100 for transportation operation money.
And you gave it to the federal government. Because I'm the federal government.
But we're going back to the state now.
Okay, well, if you want the money that the state's entitled to, you only get 85 of the 100 that you gave to the federal government.
Okay.
I get the other 15, it's the federal government. And most of it goes to another state, like you said before. Who wants to be from another state?
Well, I'll take it.
Okay.
Transit agencies get money based on what they spent last year. Okay? That's what you got to know. And this system spends the kind of money that gets them $20 this year out of the budget. Okay? So the town gets the $20. And this system is a little bit larger, spent more money, traveled more miles, paid more salaries, that kind of thing. So you get 25. This is the city system. See, they got buses running 6 days a week here. Yeah.
Where do they run to?
Well, if you're in the city like Marquette, they run on your main roads. You run where your people are. Yeah, run in circles, basically. That's what the bus system does. But while it's running in circles, it's spending money. Okay? So this system, which runs all those buses, they get
45.
45 of the 85.
No, 40.
40. So then you've got that money to run your bus system for this year, okay? We're starting the year. And then people are going to pay fares. So part of what you do is you've got to levy a fare. And maybe you find some local money. This particular year, this system right here has a community college in their area, and they got a contract to provide bus service for their students. Well, what did that do for this system? It increased their expenses. They're going to send in to the state government an explanation of their money they spent. And the state government's going to use that for the next year. Now we're into the next year, and you spent more than you did in the previous year because you got that contract with the college, right? So that means you're going to have to give, we're sorry, Chatham, but you just spent the same amount. You owe this system, you got to give this system some of your money. How much? Give me $5. Okay.
You can't get by with 4?
You got to have her on the city council. Okay, so you get extra money because you've got this contract with the college, right? So you can spend more money. Okay?
Well, us.
So they get less from the state? They get less from the state?
Yes, they get less because...
Because they spent more money?
Yeah, because we still only have the $85. See?
Oh, they
So
spend more money
that's how it
then.
works.
What about us over here?
Well, you're a city. Now, how can you expand your system?
Parking lot.
Oh, and a car plant came to the suburbs. And you were going to deal with the owner of the plant, and he sees that transportation is good. He says, well, I'll give you this much towards the system. So now, your system spent more money. You got money from other places that let you put more buses on the road, that lets you then, okay, each of you give me $3. Now what? Because they got a contract with the university, which is bigger than your community college.
So you can't get by with 2?
No, 3. Okay? So Chatham is still just trying to get by on their basic service, okay? They're where they started, and they're saying to the state, we got to keep our service. We can't raise the rates any higher. We can't charge people more, and we've got to go more miles, and we need more money. And then Michigan says, well, this is the formula. This is what it is in the law. This is what it says. Sorry about that. So, your $3 and your $3.
So now we got more money.
Because this system made a deal with their university, and they also have a manufacturing plant that moved in outside the city. And so she gets more money. Who's got the most money now?
We do.
So this is the second year, right?
Yeah.
How much money do you have to run your system this second year? And how much money do you have to run your system?
We started out with 40. So you got 46.
We got 46.
Huh?
I have 13. I'm lucky 13.
You've only got $13 now?
Chatham only has $13. They started out with 20. They started out with 20 2 years ago.
Now they're down to 13.
Now they're down to 13 because their money, they didn't get the money from the state.
So you still have 25, which is the same amount you got.
This system hasn't given up any money yet because they keep growing because they're pocket from. Well, then pay attention. Because this system's going to keep growing. Now here's the kicker. They're talking light rail, commuter rail. Okay? They're talking also about that becoming part of the funding formula. What is that going to do? If you're all of a sudden starting up and maintaining a light rail system, is that rail system going to cost you something?
Yes.
A lot more.
Of course it is.
Well, then they spent more money again last year. I'm sorry, give me $2. Yeah.
Oh, now they're down to... Now they're even down more.
I want free from you because you didn't spend enough.
Now they're down more.
That's true. What happens here? What's happening? And this is happening in the state.
They just lost more money.
So who lost?
Yeah,
But you know, the source of the problem is you didn't bring enough money to the table to begin with.
It was enough for my mind.
Yeah.
Okay?
But you can see it's not enough for the needs.
Right, yeah, it's not enough. There's not enough. And so local areas pass millage. Oh, Chatham, you're tight, you can't, and the funding keeps getting cut and keeps getting cut. So what you what you want to do is you start talking, and you're talking to some of the little towns around you, you say, hey, let's pass a regional village. You can do that now under Public Act 196. Maybe you want to create this regional authority, which can levy taxes, and that authority figures out what it needs to serve those 4 towns, and then you pass a millage. So they're going to get some money. So I'm sorry, we have to give them, because their millage means that they put 2 more buses on the road, and they also expanded their hours.
They did.
Yep. So they're going to get some more money. What did you guys do?
We didn't lose any money.
That basically is how the state funding for operations works. The big systems get bigger, and we have small systems, and you all know this, are drying up and dying. It has to be fixed. It has to be fixed at the state level, and we need legislation that's more current than 1951. So you can see it, you're putting light rail in, and you're spending more money, and you're saying this is all good for transportation, and this is all good for Michigan. And Mick says, what about the UP? We don't even have any transportation in Baraga at all.
No.
We don't have.
Culvers either.
We don't have
Oh,
any
yeah.
either.